I spent 37 years building something I thought mattered, and it took me less than 30 seconds to realize I'd built it on the wrong foundation. My name is Robert, and I'm 67 years old now. I live in a modest house in Clearwater, Florida, where the Gulf breeze comes through my kitchen window every morning while I make coffee. Just one cup now. Used to be 3, back when I needed the fuel to keep going. These days, I've got nowhere to rush to, and that's taken some getting used to. People ask me sometimes what I did for work, and I tell them I was in commercial real estate development. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? The truth is more complicated than that, but isn't it always? I started small, right here in Florida, back in the early 80s when this place was still finding itself. I had big dreams then. My father worked in a factory his whole life, came home tired every single day, and I promised myself I'd never live like that. I'd make something of myself. I'd be someone. I met my wife, Linda, when I was 24. She was working as a teacher at an elementary school in Tampa, and I was doing surveying work for a small construction company, trying to learn the business from the ground up. We met at a friend's barbecue, one of those hot Saturday afternoons where everyone's drinking beer and pretending the humidity isn't killing them. She had this laugh that made me forget what I was saying mid-sentence. Still does, actually. We got married 2 years later. Small wedding, just family and close friends. Linda wore a simple white dress she'd found at a shop in St. Petersburg, and I wore a suit I'd borrowed from my older brother. We couldn't afford much, but we were happy. That's what I remember most clearly, how happy we were with so little. We rented a tiny apartment near the beach, and on Sunday mornings we'd walk along the shore before the tourists woke up. She'd collect shells, and I'd talk about the future I was going to build for us. Our daughter Emily came along 3 years into our marriage. I was 29, working 60-hour weeks, trying to make junior partner at the firm I'd joined. Linda took maternity leave and then went back to teaching part-time. Money was tight, tighter than I wanted it to be. I'd lie awake some nights listening to Emily cry in the next room, listening to Linda get up to comfort her, and I'd feel this weight pressing down on my chest, the weight of responsibility, the weight of not being enough. So I worked harder. That's what you do, right? When you feel like you're falling short, you push harder. You stay later at the office. You take on extra projects. You network at events on weekends. You build relationships with clients. You make yourself indispensable. And slowly, over months and years, it starts to work. The commissions get bigger. The opportunities multiply. People start knowing your name in the industry. By the time Emily was 5, I'd made partner. By the time she was 8, I'd left to start my own firm with 2 colleagues. By the time she was 12, we'd moved to a bigger house in a better neighborhood. Linda quit teaching to focus on Emily and manage our home. On paper, everything looked perfect. The American dream realized, a self-made man providing for his family. But here's what nobody tells you about chasing success. It's like walking up a beach dune. Every step forward, the sand shifts beneath you, and you have to work twice as hard just to stay in place. And the view from the top? It's never quite what you imagined it would be. I missed Emily's first piano recital because I was closing a deal in Miami. I remember Linda calling me afterward, her voice careful and measured, telling me Emily had done beautifully, that she'd looked for me in the audience. She understood. She knows you're working hard for us. But I heard something else in her voice that day, something I didn't want to acknowledge. I missed her elementary school graduation because I was in Atlanta meeting with investors. I missed her 13th birthday party because of an emergency with a project in Orlando. Each time I told myself it was temporary. Just this one deal, just this one meeting. Once we got past this hurdle, things would slow down. I'd have more time. We'd take that family vacation we kept talking about. The vacation never happened. Emily grew up despite me, not because of me. She became a teenager while I was busy becoming successful. Linda held everything together at home. The homework help, the doctor's appointments, the parent-teacher conferences, the late-night conversations when Emily had her heart broken for the first time. I was there for none of it. I was there for the big moments I couldn't miss without looking like a complete failure as a father. Her high school graduation, her 18th birthday, her departure for college. College. University of Florida, Gainesville. 3 hours north of us. She wanted to study environmental science, maybe become a marine biologist. She'd always loved the ocean, ever since she was a little girl collecting shells with her mother. I remember helping her move into her dorm room in the August heat. Linda was crying, trying to hide it. Emily was excited, ready for this new chapter. I shook her hand. Can you believe that? My own daughter, and I shook her hand. She looked at me for a moment, something flickering across her face, disappointment maybe, or just resignation, and then she hugged her mother and told us to drive safe going home. The business kept growing. Through Emily's college years, through the 2008 recession that nearly destroyed us, through the recovery that came after, I fought for every inch of ground. There were years I thought we'd lose everything. Years I worked 18-hour days just to keep the lights on and pay my employees. Linda never complained, not really. She'd ask sometimes when things would get easier, when we could travel like we'd always planned, when I'd retire and we'd finally have time together. Soon, I'd tell her, just a few more years. Emily graduated college and got a job with an environmental nonprofit in California. California, as far from Florida as she could get while staying in the continental United States. She called every few weeks, talked mostly to her mother. When Linda would hand me the phone, our conversations were brief and polite. How's work? Fine. How's the weather out there? Nice. We should visit sometime. Yeah, that would be good. The calls got less frequent over the years. She got married when she was 31. Guy named David, works in renewable energy. Seems like a good man from the photos Linda showed me. We weren't invited to the wedding. Small ceremony, just a few close friends, Emily told her mother on the phone. Civil service at a courthouse in San Diego. Linda cried for 3 days. I told her Emily was just being practical, that big weddings are expensive and unnecessary. But I knew the truth. I knew why we weren't there. I kept working. What else was I going to do? The business was all I had, all I'd built. I told myself I was securing our future, Linda's and mine. I told myself that when I finally did retire, we'd have the resources to do whatever we wanted. Travel the world, buy a place in the mountains, whatever made her happy. I finally sold the business 2 years ago. 65 seemed like the right age, and a larger firm had been courting us for years. The number they offered was more money than my father made in his entire lifetime. More money than I'd ever imagined having when Linda and I were eating ramen in that little apartment by the beach. I signed the papers on a Tuesday afternoon, came home to tell Linda we were set for life, found her sitting in the kitchen, staring out the window at nothing in particular. We can do anything now, I told her. Go anywhere. What do you want to do first? She looked at me with those same eyes I'd fallen in love with 43 years earlier, except now they were tired in a way that had nothing to do with age. I want you to call your daughter, she said. So I did. I called Emily that night. She answered on the 4th ring, sounded surprised to hear my voice. We made small talk for a minute, and then I told her I'd retired, that I had time now, that maybe I could fly out to California and we could spend some time together. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. Dad, she said finally, her voice soft but firm, I'm 42 years old. I built my life without you in it. I don't say that to be cruel, it's just the truth. You chose your work. I understand that now. I'm not angry anymore. But I also don't know how to have a relationship with you. We're strangers who happen to share DNA. The words hit me like a physical blow. I stood there in my expensive house, holding my expensive phone, wearing the expensive watch I'd bought to celebrate a deal 7 years ago, and I felt completely hollow. I'm sorry, I said, though the words felt inadequate, too small for the magnitude of what I'd lost. "I know you are," she replied. "Mom tells me you worked hard to provide for us, and you did. We had everything we needed materially. But Dad, I needed you, and you were never there." We talked a little longer. She wasn't cruel about it, which somehow made it worse. She was kind, understanding even, in the way you might be understanding toward a distant relative you barely know. Before we hung up, she said something that stayed with me ever since. "I hope you and Mom can finally enjoy your time together. She's waited long enough." That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed next to Linda, listening to her breathe, thinking about all the moments I'd traded away. Emily's first steps, her school plays, her soccer games, her questions about the world, her fears and dreams and heartbreaks. I'd traded all of it for conference calls and contracts and square footage and profit margins. And for what? To prove to my father's ghost that I was better than him? To prove to myself that I was worth something? To escape the fear of not being enough? The cruelest realization was this: I'd become exactly what I'd tried to avoid. My father came home tired every day, but he came home. He was at the dinner table. He was there. I'd convinced myself I was building something bigger, something better, but all I'd really done was find a more socially acceptable way to abandon my family. In the weeks that followed, I fell into something like depression. Not the clinical kind, maybe, but a deep grief for a life I'd lived but never really inhabited. Linda, bless her, was patient with me. She had waited 40 years. She could wait a little longer for me to figure out what came next. I started therapy, 65 years old and finally talking to someone about my feelings. My therapist asked me once what I thought success meant. I gave him the answer I'd always given myself: financial security, professional respect, the ability to provide for your family. "And did you succeed?" he asked. I thought about Emily on the other side of the country, about Linda sitting alone at Emily's piano recitals, about dinners where my chair was empty. "No," I said. I failed at the only things that actually mattered. But here's the thing about reaching the bottom. It's also a foundation. You can't fall any further, which means the only direction left is up, or at least forward. I started small. I began going to a men's group at our church, something Linda had suggested years ago that I'd always been too busy for. Bunch of guys my age and older, sitting in a circle in the church basement on Thursday evenings, talking about life. Some of them had stories like mine. Some had different regrets. All of us were trying to figure out how to live the last chapter better than we'd lived the middle ones. I started volunteering at a youth center, helping kids with their homework a few afternoons a week. It seemed like a strange choice at first, working with children when I'd failed so completely with my own. But my therapist suggested it might help, and in a way it did. Not because it absolved me of anything, but because it gave me a chance to show up consistently for someone. There's a kid named Marcus I work with, 14 years old, struggling with algebra. His dad works 2 jobs and is never home. Marcus acts tough, but I can see the loneliness in him. I know what it's like to have a father who's always somewhere else, even if the reasons are different. I can't give Marcus what his father can't, but I can be there on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. I can show him that someone gives a damn whether he understands quadratic equations. Linda and I started taking those walks again, the ones we used to take on Sunday mornings when we were young and broke and happy. We don't talk much during these walks. We just exist together, watching the pelicans dive for fish, feeling the sand between our toes, being present in a way I never learned how to be before. I write to Emily now, real letters with pen and paper, mailed in envelopes with stamps. I don't ask her for anything. I don't try to force a relationship. I just tell her about my days, about the things I'm learning, about the ways I'm trying to become a better man at an age when most men think they're finished becoming anything. She doesn't write back often. Sometimes months go by, but sometimes she does respond, usually just a few lines. Last month, she sent me a photo of a sea turtle she'd helped rescue and release. There was a note on the back. "Thought you'd like this. It reminded me of the shells we used to find when I was little." We used to find. I wasn't there for those shell-collecting mornings, but in her memory, I was. Linda must have told her I was, or maybe Emily's being generous with her past, rewriting me into moments I'd missed. Either way, it felt like grace I didn't deserve but desperately needed. I can't get back the years I lost. I can't undo the damage I caused by being absent. I can't give Emily the father she needed when she was young and needed one most. These are facts I have to live with, and some days they're heavier than others. But I can do this. I can show up now. I can be present in the life I have left. I can be the husband Linda deserves in whatever time we have together. I can be honest about my failures instead of defending them. I can help a kid with his homework on Tuesday afternoons. I can write letters to my daughter and accept whatever relationship she's willing to give me without demanding more. Is it enough? I don't know. Maybe that's not even the right question. Here's what I've learned, what I wish I could go back and tell that 29-year-old man lying awake at night feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on his chest. The weight never goes away. You're always going to feel like you're not enough, like you're falling short. That's part of being human. But you get to choose what you carry that weight for. I chose to carry it for deals and developments and bank accounts. I told myself I was doing it for my family, but really I was doing it for myself, to prove something, to achieve something, to become someone important. If I could go back, I'd tell him this: you're already someone important. You're important to that woman sleeping next to you, who married you when you had nothing. You're important to that baby girl in the next room who will grow up wondering why her father was never there. Your presence matters more than your presence. Your time is the only truly finite resource you have, and you're spending it on things that won't matter when you're old and looking back. But I can't go back. None of us can. We can only go forward. Last week, Linda and I were sitting on our back porch in the evening, watching the sky turn orange and pink over the water in the distance. She reached over and took my hand, and we sat like that for a long time without speaking. Then she said, "I'm glad you're here." Not, "I'm glad you're home," just, "I'm glad you're here." Here, present, inhabiting the moment instead of mentally being somewhere else, planning the next move, strategizing the next deal. Me too, I told her, and I meant it. I've been successful now for 2 years. Not successful in the way I used to measure it, but successful in a way that actually matters. Successful at being present. Successful at showing up. Successful at living in the life I have, instead of the life I'm trying to build. It's not dramatic. There's no big redemption arc, no moment where everything suddenly gets fixed. Emily and I will probably never have the relationship we could have had. Linda and I are building something new, but we can't pretend the 40 years of absence didn't happen. The kids I tutor will go home to their own complicated families, and I'm just a small part of their story. But here's what I know now, what I wish I'd known then. Life isn't a project to complete or a deal to close. It's a series of moments to inhabit, and you don't get them back. You don't get to postpone them until you've achieved enough or earned enough or become enough. The moments are happening now, while you're busy planning for later. Success isn't something you arrive at. It's something you do every day in small ways that don't make headlines or impress anyone or pad your bank account. It's showing up. It's being there. It's choosing presence over productivity. I built an empire of absence. I constructed a life that looked impressive from the outside, but felt hollow from within. And now, at 67, I'm learning how to simply be present in the small, ordinary moments that actually make up a life. If you're reading this or listening to this, and you're in that place I was, convinced that success is somewhere ahead of you, something you'll achieve once you work hard enough or long enough, please hear me. You're wrong. You're chasing something that doesn't exist. The success you're looking for is already here, in the faces of the people who love you, in the moments you're about to miss because you're too busy trying to get somewhere else. I don't know how much time I have left. None of us do. But I know this. I'm not going to waste whatever remains chasing ghosts and building monuments to my own ego. I'm going to walk on the beach with my wife. I'm going to write letters to my daughter. I'm going to help a kid with his homework. I'm going to be here, fully here, for whatever comes next. That's my confession. That's my testimony. I thought I was building something that mattered, and I built it at the expense of everything that actually did. But I'm still here, and while I'm here, I'm going to try to get it right. Not for redemption, not to fix what's broken, just because it's the only thing left worth doing. The sun is setting now over Clearwater. The sky is doing that thing it does here, turning impossible shades of orange and purple that never quite look real. Linda is in the kitchen making dinner, and she's going to call me in a minute to set the table. And when she does, I'm going to be there. I'm finally going to be there.
Old spruce wood, thumb on the bass, quiet pattern, piano like a lantern in the dusk, breathing in the dust of the room. Ancient past, stone worn thin by names forgotten, boot prints, bare feet, heavy burden. I take my place among them, where wisdom meets the journey, not in books stacked to the ceiling, but in calloused hands and tired shoulders, sharing bread at the